Welcome to Writing with Mrs. Leong. This is one of my favorite writing activities. It not only ties in all of the basics of how to write well, but it pulls in research skills and organizational skills for children as well. It's a nice way to kind of tie the whole curriculum together in a fun way where you're looking in depth at studying something. With the resource that I'm using, it's the Komodo dragon. Grade 2, 3 students seem to really like this creature, but you can modify that for any grade. I would start at the beginning of the year modeling what that looks like. So the first project, I would find a book that I like. I would look through the book. I would build a web, just the shell of your web with the big main ideas in the book. And then slowly read through the resource with your students in your class, taking jot notes as you go through. And of course, I would never write in full sentences ever on your web. I would only do keywords, key phrases only. And slowly build your web out. Read it a little bit at a time and slowly build your web out. When you've completed your web, you can use your web to engage in writing activities. And basically, you're teaching students what proper sentence structure looks like, but then you can model it by taking the jot notes off of their web and then writing full sentences and organizing them in a paragraph structure to really show them what a research project looks like. But then again, you're taking it step by step, slowly. For parents, this is a great activity to find a high interest book that your child has, either from the library or at home, or you could order a book, and then slowly go through that book with your child again, building a web and practicing the same skills. So for home study or school study, this activity seems to be a winner all the way around, and it practices all the skills we want students to have. Welcome back. Now, I just wanted to give you a little more information about why we want keywords and phrases only on student webs. Students, especially if they're struggling with writing or they're very young and they're not used to writing full sentences, will tend to struggle with that concept and be very keen to copy out of books because they like to do well and they want to do the right thing and they want their work correct and they want to do something they're proud of. So that temptation to just copy directly out of the book is very strong. So we want to discourage that by just saying, pick out the key words. This makes them be very critical about what a key word is. This also allows them to find the correct spelling of that keyword. They can copy that out of the book, but they can't copy sentences word for word because you do want the activity to enable them to develop their own sentences after the web has been constructed. So I would really encourage them to stay away from any sentence structures, just keywords and phrases only. Now, when it comes time that the web is completely built, and now all of a sudden you're engaging in the writing portion of their project, I would do a lot of talking things out with students. So pick a key idea off of the web and talk about that key idea, but then have students try to make a sentence about it. But always have them make a sentence orally before they start writing. And when they fine-tune it and craft it orally and talk about it and say it first, it makes the writing process much easier. So I would strongly recommend that you do it that way, and students can feel very successful in the fact that they created their own sentence. They didn't copy it. They took the jot notes. They have all the important words spelt correctly, even if maybe they had to sound out some words and struggle with spelling of other words. All the key words in their writing will be spelled correctly. And there will be a flow to their writing because they're talking through it before they're actually putting their pencil to paper and writing down the sentence. So another important aspect to this project is organization. And the web is organized specifically to capture information in clumps of related ideas. So when it's time for students to do their writing, pick an area after you do your general introduction, and you can talk about general concepts about the animal they're studying, construct or craft 2 or 3 sentences as an introduction. I have a slide on that later. But when it comes time for the paragraph development, pick one area at a time. Have students pick key words, key concepts off of their web to create sentences. Now again, I would do that together and do a lot of talking through that idea so students can actually hear the sentence out loud before they're writing it down. And I would do one area at a time. I would indent when you start, just like the beginning of a paragraph, and then I would build your sentences throughout that whole paragraph, one at a time. And as you use the concepts and keywords off of their web, you would just check them off so that students are keeping track of which concepts they've already put into sentences, which ideas they still need to add to their writing, and it just helps give their writing a nice flow with no repetition in it. Now, the last step in the writing process for this assignment is to write an effective conclusion. The fastest way to do that is just to go to the front of the report, read the introduction, find an interesting way to restate that. Maybe add in an interesting fact, something you've learned through your research about the animal, and wrap up your conclusion. Other than that, I would invest a great deal of time helping students edit their work. I would never want to put a lot of pressure on a child to produce a good copy the first time around. Students should feel like when they're writing and they're in the process of creating something, it is a working document. It is not ever meant to be a good copy the first time around. They should feel very comfortable to explore and make mistakes and know that support will be given to them to polish it up for their final draft. But their working copy is never something we expect perfection on. I will be releasing more videos in the future about different aspects of language arts, reading and writing, and editing. So if this is helpful to you, please feel free to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.